Hi everyone, it's Miss Karen. Happy Friday. I hope you're all doing well. I'm back today again to do some more kitchen science. And today we're going to be doing 2 experiments using water. I was thinking about water today because of all the rain we're having, so I thought it would be fun to show you 2 experiments with water. So the first experiment is an experiment that I call traveling water. And traveling water, what does that mean? Well, first of all, let's talk about water. What is water and what makes water? We know that water is clear and it's wet and it's a liquid. And you pour it usually. There's a lot of rain out there right now, so there's a lot of water. You can get water from your faucet. We drink water from bottled water. So that we know. Water is made up of molecules. And when I think of water as being very powerful and being able to do a lot of things. Like move. Water can move. How does water move? How does water travel? Well, that's what we're going to see. So this experiment we're first going to do is I call climbing water. And when you say climbing, Miss Karen, what do you mean by that? How on earth would water be able to climb? Well, here I started this experiment because I wanted to kind of show you a little bit after it's been happening. Let's see if I can try to show it. And then I'll show you how I set it up. But like I said, water is made out of molecules. And those molecules are very, very little to the point where we can't even see them. There's hundreds and hundreds of water molecules in the water. It's kind of a tongue twister. And those molecules stick together. And they also, because to climb, they can stick together and crawl on top of each other. Therefore, that's how the water moves. So we're going to make our water travel from one glass to another glass. And what will it crawl on? It's going to climb and crawl on a paper towel. So I'm going to show you what I started earlier. So here I have 2 glasses. This glass in my hand that I'm moving has a lot of blue water. And this glass over here was empty when it started. Now what I did is I colored the water because I wanted to make it be able to see the difference on the paper towel. See, if you notice, the paper towel when I first put it in was absolutely dry. But now, if I move it closer, it's wet, and I know it's wet because it's blue, and I also notice it's soggy. And in the empty glass, the water has started to climb and travel over to the cup. Now the question is, will all of the water on the blue side be able to climb and travel over to this glass? And then the blue glass will be empty, and this glass will be full. You wonder, do you think it can happen? So far, the water is traveling from the blue glass to the empty glass and spilling up. Now, I started this probably about 11 o'clock this morning, and it's 4 o'clock. So if you notice, there's only a tiny bit of water. So that's going to tell you it's going to take a little bit of time. But I find experiments like this really fun. I like to watch them over time and see the progress of it and see if it really happens. So we're going to add on to this though. So again, my blue cut glass and my empty glass. You're going to need a paper towel, and I broke that off. You'll need another empty glass and some more water and some food coloring. Now, I was thinking to make this even more interesting is I'm going to add on to these 2 glasses by using this glass right here. I hope you can see it right there. I'm going to connect it to these 2 glasses over here. I'll explain it a little bit as I go. So I'm going to choose the color yellow. I'm going to pour some water in my glass, just probably about halfway. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some drops of food coloring. I think that everything's a little more fun too when you add food coloring. So here is my yellow, and I'm placing it right next to the other cups, glasses, if you notice. So they're kind of in a straight line. Now, when you're doing this, you might want to put it in a spot on your kitchen counter where it's not going to be in the way, because you're going to leave it alone for some time. Now, notice my paper towel. What I did is I twisted it to make it a little tighter. And now, I'll fold this glass up. I'm going to dip one end in my yellow glass, and then I'll place it on my table, and I'm gonna hang it over into the empty glass where the blue is. However, if you notice, we're gonna move along. See the glasses? There's two ends of the paper towel in the middle glass because I wanna connect it to the blue glass. So, like I said, traveling water, we want the water to travel on the paper towel and move all the water from one glass to the empty glass. And again, water is made up of molecules, and those molecules stick together and they climb on top of each other. So I really want to know by tomorrow, I would love for you to post to say, yes, all the water from one glass traveled on the paper towel into the other glass. And then maybe it would be fun to record how long it actually took. So far, mine has been moving for about 5 hours. So I'm gonna say it's a little slow. All right, so that's experiment number 1. I wanna do one more experiment with you before we go. So we're gonna move over this way a little bit because I have more supplies over here. Now, I told you, again, water was on my mind. So I did, oh gosh, sorry friends. I was getting so good, my phone just fell. But this time, we're not gonna use water from the faucet for this experiment. We're actually going to use seltzer water. Now, if you don't know about seltzer water, when you pour the seltzer water, you'll notice that seltzer water has bubbles or carbonation in them. And when you're going to need a glass, and we pour it in the glass, we can see the bubbles and the fizz. Now, I don't know if you've ever thought about it or ever wondered, but what are those bubbles? Those bubbles are carbon dioxide, which is one of my favorite kind of gases to work with. And carbon dioxide makes those bubbles. And if you notice, they move up and down through the glass, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you've ever really looked at it, but it's kind of fun. Now, what I have along with my seltzer water in my glass is I have some craisins, but you could also use raisins. And I also have some funny little pasta shapes. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop some of these into the glass, and the question is, will they drop to the bottom and sink, or is it possible that those tiny carbon dioxide bubbles in the soda will make those raisins or craisins come up and bounce up and down? Oh, Mia is saying this is one of her favorite experiments. It is mine too. So I sometimes call this the dancing raisin experiment. But again, we want to see if the pasta or the raisin will sink to the bottom, or will the carbon dioxide bubbles in the seltzer water have them float up and jump up and down. So what I'm going to do, let's see. I'm going to drop 2 craisins and 2 pieces of pasta, and then I'll hold up my glass. Actually, I think we could do it at the same time. And again, we want to see, can we make them dance? So here goes one little craisin. Do you notice? It's not only bouncing to the top, but did you see how it dipped down a little bit too? And then there goes another one. And then here comes the pasta. And, ooh, the pasta didn't actually really go down to the bottom at all. But notice the Raisin was at the top for a moment and then it went down, and now it's going up and down. And if you look really closely when you're doing this at home, notice how the bubbles are stuck and holding on to the Raisin and the pasta. And now if you really think about it, they're going up and down and they're dancing. Try something different in your kitchen. Like maybe, do you think a chocolate chip would work? Do you think a grape would work? I don't know if I'd recommend anything larger than that, but it would be interesting to see what you try. And again, feel free to post if you tried this with a picture and also what you put in there for your little pieces. I'm gonna try one more piece of pasta, but they're moving a lot and it's pretty cool. Well, that was 2 experiments. And remember, we have the dancing pasta or craisins, and then we also had our traveling water experiment. So it will be fun to see what happens. Now, stay tuned. I want you all to report back, my friends, as to what happens with your experiments, and we'll see you again really soon. Have a great weekend. I'm looking forward to some sunshine. I hope you are too, and we'll see you all again soon.